So hello everyone, today we are going to discuss assessing elements in data frame using square brackets, double square brackets, dot lock, dot ilock, dot I at. Right, so moving on to now let us look at it carefully. First of all, we have imported pandas as PD. Now here the data frame which I am making is implicit indexing. That means I am not defining any index. Whatever the index will be defined automatically, I'll accept it, right? Now I've created a data frame using the nested list. I have given 5 lists inside a list. We have already seen that in a nested list, the number of lists which are inside a list, okay, they become the rows, okay? Now, as we print the df, we have 4 rows with index 0, 1, 2, 3, and we have 3 columns 0, 1, 2. I hope that is clear. Now, when I say df square bracket 1, what it is doing? It is doing that this 1 is printing the column 1. It is printing the column 1 here. That means whenever we write df square bracket, the index of a element, if it is integer, we'll write integer base index. If it is a label, we'll write the index in quotation marks, and that column will be printed. Moving on to, now we'll look at df square bracket 0 colon 2. Now we have given slicing. Slicing क्या होता है? एक एलिमेंट से n-1 एलिमेंट तक एक्सेस करना. That means 0 एलिमेंट से 2-1 एलिमेंट तक एक्सेस करना. That means 0 and 1 we are accessing. So what is it? What 0 and 1? Is it column? Is it row? So here it is row. So when we write df square bracket and inside we put slicing, not element. When we put element, it prints column. Here we are putting slicing. So it will print us what? The 0 and 1 row with all the columns. As columns are not defined here, so it will print all the columns automatically. As you can look here that it has printed 0 and 1 row with all the columns that were there. Okay. Now moving on to, we'll see df. Now if I put a comma in the similar statement, I am put 0 column 2, so that in column is also, indexed. Column could also be sliced, but it gives me an error. That means df square bracket slicing could only fetch rows here. Okay, to fetch the column with the slicing, we have to use lock, ilock, such methods. Okay, now moving on to another one is df square bracket colon -1. Colon ka matlab first is blank, then column, then blank. That means sare elements 0 colon 0 it will mean. That means from the start till the end, all the rows of the data frame are accessed. Now when I put the step value as -1, okay, we know the order: start value, columns end value, column step value. When I put -1 as the step value, what is happening there? That the order of the rows is reversed. First it is printing me the third row, and then second, then first, and then 0. So the order of the row is reversed when I put -1. Other negative values in the start step will probably give an error. As you have seen in series also, the negative indexing doesn't work with data analysis with pandas here. All right, now moving on to, when I put df.1, that was the index value, it gave me an error, syntax error. So please note that when I put df dot integer based index, it gives me an error. But now when we'll look at the label based index, we'll see what happens, okay, later on. Now moving on to df dot log, in the square bracket I put 0. So what it is doing, it is accessing abc. What is abc? You can look up in the data frame. ABC is the row. So df dot log square bracket 0 is accessing the row. But now moving on to, if I write df dot log square bracket 0, 0. So first 0 we have seen is for rows. comma 0. The second 0 is for column. So it is accessing the 0 row and 0 column. So at the 0 row and 0 column, the what is the value you can look up into? The value is A. Okay, thus what it prints? It prints A. Okay, it is an integer based value, that does it is in quotation. Clear? Moving on to, we'll look at df.log. Now in the row comma column, this is the format, right? So in the row also I'm giving slicing, in the column also I'm giving slicing, right? So df.log 0 colon 2 comma 0 colon 2, that means 0 and 1 row comma 0 and 1 column को access करना, right? This is what we have to do here. So what it is giving me in the output, please look into that. It is accessing here what? It is accessing 0, 1, 2 row and 0, 1, 2 column. But we have seen that slicing works n minus 1. Why is it so? Because in log function, start to end, all values are accessed. It might be label based indexing, it might be integer based indexing. Please be clear. So whenever we use log, the start value to end value, that is 0 to 2, all the rows and all the columns are accessed. So 0, 1, 2 column and 0, 1, 2 row, both are accessed. So log start and till end value, all are accessed. There is no n minus 1 working here, as we have seen in the series also. If you have not watched that video, please do it. Moving now, I have written the the syntax is here, that df.log square bracket row comma column. This is what it works with. अब row में आप single value दो या slicing दो, column में आप single value दो या slicing दो. Clear? Second, I have written what it is. Second, I have written df square bracket element. df square bracket element, df square bracket, मैं कोई label based indexing लिख दूं, मैं कोई integer based 1 लिखा था जैसे, तो उसने क्या access किया? Column. Now similarly another I have written, that is df underscore slicing with a colon, right? Slicing कैसे होती है? Colon use करके. तो ये क्या देता है? Row की value हमने देखा था. जब मैंने दिया 0 colon 2, तो 0 से n minus 1, that is 0 and 1 row को access कर रहा था, right? So this is the difference. Now moving on to, we'll move on to now to df double bracket square bracket I put, and I put 0 comma 2. अब मैं चाहता हूं कि डेटा फ्रेम का 0 कॉलम और सेकंड कॉलम को मैं एक्सेस करूं, बट इज इट पॉसिबल? मैं स्लाइसिंग यूज नहीं कर सकता. क्यों? क्योंकि वो 1 को एक्सट्रैक्ट करेगा साथ में. अगर मैं 0,2 सिंगल ब्रैकेट में लिखता हूं, वो एरर दे देगा क्योंकि वो सिंगल एलिमेंट को एक्सेस करता है. तो दो एलिमेंट को एक्सेस करने के लिए व्हाट आई एम डूइंग, आई एम पुटिंग डबल ब्रैकेट. इफ आई वांट टू एक्सेस 1 element, 2 element, more than 2, I can use these double square brackets. It will work completely fine. So when I put 0,2, what it is doing, it is accessing the 0 column as well as the second column. I hope it is clear. Now moving on to, we have df.ilog square bracket 2. So what it is doing, it is accessing our second row, that is GHI, second row it is accessing with all its columns 0, 1, 2. Okay, it is written also at the end, name column 2, that is 2 row, and data type is object. Now moving on to df.ilog. Now I have done, I have defined it using slicing. What it will do, let us see. And I define it using the slicing. Okay, what it is doing, it is not visible, I guess. Right. Now I use the slicing here again. Syntax is row comma column. अब यहाँ पे सिर्फ मैं एक ही लिख रहा हूँ, that is row. तो 0 column 3, that is n minus 1 तक जाएगा, 0 से लेके 2 तक, 0, 1, 2 रो को एक्सेस करेगा. वही इसने किया, 0 to 1, 2, 1, 2, right? बट अगर इधर लॉक लिखा होता rather than I lock, what it would have done, वो 3 को भी एक्सेस करता, बट ये I lock है. ठीक है. Now moving on to, we have what? We have df.ilog 0 colon 1, 0 colon 1. What it is doing, it is accessing 0 से लेके minus n minus 1. तो वैल्यू क्या है? n 1 minus 1 0, so सिर्फ 0 रो को ये यहाँ पे एक्सेस करेगा, right? It will just access our 0 row. Right, moving on to now I've written the syntaxes that df.ilog, जब हम स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट में स्लाइसिंग डालते हैं तो ये क्या करती है, रो को एक्सेस करती है. जब हम स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट में रो कॉमा कॉलम जैसे हमने लॉक में डाला था ऊपर, फॉर एग्जांपल यू कैन सी हियर, पहले हमने रो की वैल्यू डाली 0 से 2, फिर कॉलम की. सो सिमिलर इट विल वर्क इन लॉक ऑल्सो, बट n-1 वैल्यू तक एक्सेस करेगा, सारी वैल्यूज एक्सेस, लास्ट वाली वैल्यू एक्सेस नहीं करेगा. दैट मीन 0 कॉलन 2 लिखा है तो 0 and 1 को एक्सेस करेगा, कॉलम में भी और रो में भी. सिमिलर सिंटेक्स टू लॉक. नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू वी हैव I at. अब मैंने लिखा df.I at स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट 1, ये मुझे एरर दे रहा है. क्यों? I at का वर्क क्या है? I've written at the end कि I at and at helps to access single element in a row at a column. That means एक रो में कॉमा उस कॉलम पे क्या वैल्यू है, तो हमें रो और कॉलम दोनों डिफाइन करने हैं, पहले रो देन कॉमा कॉलम, तो इसलिए इसने एरर दे दिया. नाउ व्हेन आई डिफाइन इट हियर, द df dot at 0 comma 1, what it do, 0 comma 1, what it do, it will define us b here, that at the 0 row and 1 column it is b, that is the value. Similarly at I at work, okay, at the 0 row and in the second column the value is c. Okay, here also upside I have marked it, you can see in the second here that at the 0 column in the second row the value is c, right? Now similarly I log हम नीचे यूज किया है df dot I log 0 comma 0, तो ये भी सिमिलरली वर्क कर रहा है, दैट 0 रो पे 0 कॉलम पे क्या वैल्यू, सिमिलरली लॉक वर्क करेगा. लॉक, I log, at, I at, they all work with integer based indexes. but अगर लेबल बेस्ड है दैट मीन्स एक्सप्लिसिटली हम डिफाइन कर रहे हैं इंडेक्स, चाहे वो इंटीजर इंडेक्स हो चाहे लेबल बेस्ड हो, जब हम डिफाइन कर रहे हैं उनके साथ लॉक और एट वर्क कर सकते हैं, बट आई लॉक एंड आई एट यूजर डिफाइंड इंडेक्स के साथ वर्क नहीं कर सकते. सो दिस वाज ऑल फॉर टुडे. फॉलो अस ऑन द टेलीग्राम, द लिंक इज इन द बायो फॉर द नोट्स, PPTs, videos and latest study material related to IP, and similarly follow us on Instagram @stagejubilant, @Akshay Sharma 539. Thank you.